Hello, my name is Daniel Muller, and I'm doing my project on the Gapminder Graph that shows the correlation of life expectancy to income. I'll be showing how this changes over time and with the development of countries in regards to life expectancy. The y-axis is showing life expectancy, which is the average length of time in years that an individual lives in this country, and the x-axis is showing income or GDP per capita of the country. When I press play on the Gapminder graph, it shows how the GDP per capita and life expectancy changes over years. And you will see in the early 1800s, both life expectancy and GDP per capita is low, but as time progresses, countries begin to develop and increase their GDP per capita, which at the same time, their life expectancy is increasing. Once the graph reaches the end, which is 2019, the graph shows that countries with higher GDP per capita right here have a longer life expectancy versus countries with low GDP per capita right here have shorter life expectancies. You can also sort this graph by regions, with the Americas being green. They're the flashing dots that are on the screen. Africa would be the blue dots, Asia would be the red dots, and Europe would be the yellow dots. Europe and America both have a high GDP per capita, and both also have high life expectancies. With this one being the United States, it has one of the higher life expectancies and GDP per capita. Africa, however, with their region, have lower GDP per capita, which is also showing that they have a shorter life expectancy, But an interesting thing is Asia is kind of spread all across the spectrum of this graph, with having some countries with high GDP per capita and high life expectancy, whereas also having countries with low GDP and lower life expectancy. Something that can be contributed to these countries having a higher GDP and having a higher or longer life expectancy is that the countries that are more developed and have that higher GDP per capita has more access to healthcare systems, making medicine and treatment for people that have illnesses or that are sick, being able to get the medicine that they need. And countries with lower GDP per capita may not have as much access to these types of medicines. I'm going to flip to another graph showing child mortality rate, which is kind of the same, showing the same aspects as the life expectancy graph. However, it is reversed. The countries with high GDP per capita have a lower child mortality rate, which is the same countries like the Americas and Europe. And then countries with low GDP having a higher child mortality rate, which is the same countries such as Africa. And Asia is the same as it was for life expectancy, with being all the way across the spectrum, having some in high GDP per capita and some with low GDP per capita and high mortality rate and lower mortality rate. This has contributed to the same thing as the prior graph, with countries having more access than others and with healthcare systems and treatments for those who are sick.